If you look at any classic hero's myth, that's actually worth its salt. At the beginning of a hero's journey, like with King Arthur, he pulls a sword from his stone, and he's ascendant. He has setbacks, but he unites all the kingdoms. Johnson explained of his that process. But then, if you keep reading...
What the fuck?
Hello there, it's Toothless, and I've come back to rant about more things, but this time, we're talking about... Yep, that's right, Star Wars, but not Star Wars in general, but about how Disney's been treating Luke's character and the constant character assassination he gets in movies and in shows. Before I get to the elephant in the room, I want to bring us to the Book of Mandalorian. Oh wait, sorry. I meant Book of Boba Fett. I get it confused considering Boba Fett is barely in his own show, but anyways. Luke is here and his character is, well, it's fucked. Luke agrees to train Grogu, but only if he gives up his attachment to the Mandalorian. What? When has Luke ever shown in the original trilogy that he dislikes attachment? Hell, it was because of his attachment to his father that he saved the galaxy from the Sith. And are we forgetting his sister, who he was willing to kill for? There is no way anyone thinks this is a good portrayal of the character, right?
Wrong.
I love Luke in this. He was so awesome. Nothing was about himself. He understood that Grogu desperately loved his Mandalorian dad and gave him a fair choice, and never ridiculed him or treated him poorly for his choice. He was such a great teacher.
Alright, I can kind of get into this point, but it's unfortunate that it's still out of character for Luke to say you forsake the way of the Jedi by giving into attachment, considering he has plenty of attachments of his own. See, this guy agrees with me. Oh, he has a reply. Hold on, what does it say?
I used to think like you, but then I realized that's not what's happening here. It's not that Luke's against attachments. You just realized Grogu would rather be with the Mandalorian than training. You didn't want to force Grogu to be somewhere, doing something you didn't want to do.
Use your ears! Or how about you open your eyes? Luke literally says this in the scene you're talking about. He's basically saying to Grogu that if he has attachment to the Mandalorian, who is like a father to him, that he can't be a Jedi and will have to leave the planet Luke is on. What other way could Luke have meant it, if not implying that he does not like attachment like the old Jedi Order? I would agree that it would be in character for Luke to like attachment and be different from the old Jedi Order because they were one of the reasons Anakin turned to the dark side, but that's not what this line is implying here. If they wanted this line to make sense with Luke's character, they should explain the sudden shift in his thinking process since Return of the Jedi, but they didn't do that. So it's still out of character for him to act like this. But I think I spent too much time on the Book of Flop when I really came here for the Skinwalker wearing Luke's skin. In The Last Jedi, Luke explains that he felt the dark side calling to Ben, and in a moment of weakness, he tried to stop him by, killing him. That's right, everyone. Luke Skywalker, the man whose love for his family saved the galaxy, wants to kill his own nephew. I understand a character can change, but they didn't tell us what made him change into this Luke, who is standing over his own flesh and blood, ready to kill him. And I hope everyone agrees that this is not in character from what we know.
Wrong.
I'm starting to get so tired of the same old excuse from these haters. Ryan Johnson murdered Luke Skywalker.
In my and many others' opinion, this film humanized Luke Skywalker. It made us feel his internal struggles. You and I both know that there would be no movie if Luke was the same exact since ROTJ. Not only that, but it would be super unrealistic and boring.
Oh my god, give me a break! When was Luke not humanized in the original trilogy? We saw him struggle with self-identity and fail plenty of times. Also, I agree that it'd be a cool concept to see a Luke who is broken down and different from the Return of the Jedi self, but you have to show why the character has changed, or at least mention it in a line. From what we know, nothing happened to Luke from Return of the Jedi, so why is his character so different? And don't say it's because he sensed the dark within Ben, because he, out of all people, knows that a pull towards the dark does not guarantee a turn. But Toothless, you're forgetting he said that he felt Ben's heart had already been turned to the dark side by Snoke. That is true, but his first thought should not be to kill him. The Luke we know would try to appeal to him since Ben was still conflicted with the light and the dark. But I think it's time for me to wrap this up. I do agree with some of the ideas the sequels had when it came to Luke, but that has not changed the fact that it was poorly executed and badly written when you think in universe. Anyways, I know what my next video is going to be about, and after writing this one, let me go wake it up real quick.